The world as we know it is unraveling at the seams. We are going through a collective transformation and purification process. What looks like total destruction and death is actually a necessary clearing for something new to be born in its place. And the fire that is driving this change is the archetype of the fierce feminine. For centuries on this planet, humanity has operated under a spell and an illusion of separation. We've lived in a shadow hypermasculine state that has prioritized force, control, greed, domination, and endless consumption while actively suppressing and oppressing the feminine within. And right now we are seeing the collapse of our current structures and systems, not because the world is ending, but because those systems were built on a deeply wounded foundation. And they simply can't hold the frequency of where we are going collectively. And this archetype of the fierce feminine does not just sit back and watch. It isn't just some passive, gentle energy. It's unapologetic, truth-telling, mother bear energy that draws a firm line in the sand and says, no more. It is the fire that burns away the toxic, the inauthentic, and the destructive so that new life can be born and actually grow in its place. Today, we're going to be exploring and diving deep into this great shift that is upon us and how to truly heal the shadow and wound of disconnection within us and the role that we're here to play to create and birth this new earth. Because the new earth template is not going to be built by politicians or billionaires from the top down. It is going to be grown from the ground up through sovereign, powerful individuals like ourselves returning to grassroots communities. And so before we dive in, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel to get weekly content to support and empower your journey of self-mastery and spiritual growth. Let's go. For the past several months, even over the past year, I have felt, experienced, intuited, observed this deep surge of energy within me and all around me that is exposing, illuminating all that has been hidden, disowned, rejected, repressed, suppressed, and oppressed within us. And we can no longer hide from all of the things that we have pushed away or avoided for so long. We can see this collectively playing out. Look at all of the things just over these past several months that has been exposed and put into our face. And then, of course, you can look inside of yourself where the things that maybe you felt you healed from or maybe mastered or overcome, that is now coming back up to be examined from a whole nother angle. Well, the point of this fierce feminine archetype is to really burn away all of the old, the outdated paradigms, programming, conditioning that has been so deeply embedded within us. And when I speak to the masculine, when I speak to the feminine, I'm not speaking to gender. I am speaking to the core principles that govern all of life, that exist within us. And, I've shared this in other videos, but the oppression of the feminine, meaning the oppression of our creativity, our receptivity, our intuition, our heart, all of this energy that we have pushed down for so long, all of that is wanting to come into balance. Yet that energy cannot come into balance if we are still in a place of striving, pushing, chasing, forcing, controlling, which is what we have inevitably learned to do and how to actually survive, because our nervous systems have been deeply contracted into this sympathetic fight or flight state that has been operating chronically in this way for most of our lives. And so this is a rewiring, recoding process that is taking place on a deep cellular level, even within our DNA as it morphs and shifts, as I've shared about in other videos around the 55th gene key. There is so much that is happening all at once to reach this powerful crescendo and evolutionary point. Now, right now, we are at the threshold. We are at the dawn. We are at the 11th hour. And so it can feel very overwhelming with all of the things that are coming up within us and all around us. But all of this is coming into our awareness so that we can see it, we can look at it, and we can feel it and ultimately clear it. Because we can't continue to walk the same path that we've been walking collectively for so long. We see all of the destruction, the degradation, the violence, the abuse that has taken place on this planet. And if we want to create something new, well, we need to begin to look at all of this. There is no exemption here. And even as I share these words, I can feel this energy of this feminine speaking through me. And it is an energy that we can't ignore, that we must embrace to step into the fires of transformation within ourselves. Because as we do so, we step into our true power, into our true sovereignty, into our leadership, into our stewardship. But in order to do so, we must not stay complicit to what we've been told. We must not run away any longer from the pain, from the trauma, from the fear. We must acknowledge and accept it all. We must forgive it all, because forgiveness is the most radical act, to forgive ourselves, to forgive others in a radical, honest way. And by doing this, we then are no longer acting unconsciously to perpetuate all of the old, outdated paradigm and beliefs that we've been essentially indoctrinated into by this overall system. And so before we can rise, there must be this breakdown. We must come into the deeper parts of ourselves where we may not feel clear on our path. We may not feel that we have everything figured out, and that's okay. We must surrender fully into the unknown, letting go into this deeply transformative process. And I know that's not easy. I've had my own struggles and battles with it, of wanting to know what is next. But right now we are existing in this void space, because the void is really the feminine. And within that void, all things are possible. And we ultimately get to choose the path that we walk. We can continue to walk in the same ways we have, perpetuating the same paradigms. But that is only going to lead us into deeper levels of separation. It's going to lead us into deeper levels of confusion, into fear. Or we can choose a new walk. We can walk with spirit. We can walk with our heart. We can walk together, the feminine and masculine merged hand in hand, where we are living from that place of deep intuition, creativity, receptivity. We are listening to life. We are being first and foremost. And then we allow that beautiful, powerful masculine energy to lead, to guide, to take action towards the things that inspire us, that light us up, and that ultimately are in service to the whole. Because we are all designed to be of service to the whole. We are all designed to use our gifts to support the evolution of humanity and the restoration of this planet. Because Earth herself, as a feminine being, is also shifting. And all of the shock waves from the sun, the solar activity, which I covered in the Great Solar Flash video. If you haven't watched that, go and check that out. And what's happening within us in the expansion and evolution of our solar plexus, which is our inner sun. All of this paired with what the earth is going through, we are wiping the slate clean, and we are no longer obeying and giving our energy to the synthetic and the artificial, but now returning back to the natural, to the organic, to honor the web of life, to honor this creation, to honor the water, to honor the fire, to honor the air, the earth, the ether, to live within these elementals that exist within us, which is the foundation and blueprint of who we are, to come back into this mycelium network where we're no longer living in this vertical, hierarchical type of top-down plane of leadership, but we are returning and we are evolving from this deeply oppressive patriarchal system to the matriarchy, to ultimately synarchy, where masculine and feminine combine together in union within us to create this horizontal plane of leadership. And ultimately returning back to grassroots, to the earth where we grow our food, we grow our herbs, to each other where we gather in council and circle and community, into these decentralized systems and economies that are mutually beneficial for us as well as the earth itself, where we are giving birth to create something that benefits all men, women, children, and earth herself. And so taking all of what has been shared here and considering, where are you in this process? What is coming up for you? And how much can you deeply embrace what is coming up for you? Because you are a pivotal part of this creation of the new. For me personally, which I will be sharing in more videos as we, as we go along here, is that I am actively actually creating and pretty much finished with a full blueprint for what these new communities can look like, from the design to the governance to the full structure. And I'm very passionate about what is to come, because we are over this next 2, 3, 5, 10 years are going to see the biggest shift that humanity has seen in centuries, in eons. With all of the different endings and closings of these cycles and the birth of something new, it is going to be a complete revolution. But that revolution happens first and foremost within us, when we must begin to honor that energy that is calling us forward. We must begin to honor the feminine, because when we honor the feminine, we honor life. And so asking yourself right now, where can you honor more of that beautiful, powerful, transformative feminine energy within you? Where can you honor the sacred masculine, the action taker, the leader, the provider, the steward, and merge that together with this feminine to become a whole, sovereign being? I am ready. I am here. I am for it all. And I'm very excited for all of you to be joined within this channel and helping to grow these communities together. And for those of you guys that want to go deeper with me and that you want to explore community, you want to explore yourself on these deeper levels through the lens of embodied self-mastery and spiritual growth, and how we can all rise together in service to our personal and planetary evolution, I invite you to join me inside of my community, on my school community, the Mastery Collective. And as a reminder, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and share with other paradigm shifters, trailblazers, change makers, cycle breakers, because we are here to rise up. Now is the time.